Kim Sally and the Village of Eternal Smiles. Welcome to The Cursed Storyteller. Tonight we follow Kim Sally, a traveller who took a wrong turn during a storm and found herself in a town where no one ever stops smiling. But these aren't smiles of happiness. They're something much worse, something inhuman. Stay with us as we uncover the chilling secrets of Kim Sally and the Village of Eternal Smiles. The storm came out of nowhere. One minute, Kim Sally was driving under clear skies on Route 47, heading to her grandmother's funeral. The next, rain hammered her windshield like angry fists. Her GPS flickered and died with a final electronic gasp. No signal on her phone either, just static. Lightning split the sky, revealing a sign half hidden by overgrown branches. Welcome to Eversmile, where happy faces stay forever. The paint gleamed wet and red in her headlights. Too red, like blood. She should have turned around, but her grandmother's house was still 3 hours away, and this looked like the only town nearby. The village revealed itself slowly through the rain. Perfect white houses lined perfectly paved streets. Every lawn was trimmed to the same exact length. Every flower bed bloomed with identical red roses. No cars, no children's toys scattered in yards. Just perfect, pristine order. Kim Sally pulled into the only gas station, its fluorescent lights buzzing in the growing darkness. An elderly attendant stood motionless behind the counter, back turned to her. When the bell above the door chimed, he rotated, not turned but rotated to face her. His smile stretched too wide, almost unnaturally. His eyes, however, weren't smiling. They looked terrified. "Welcome to Eversmile," he rasped, his voice crackling like radio interference. "You're just in time for the evening smile. Everyone smiles here. Everyone must smile." Kim Sally shivered. Something about his words made her stomach turn. Then, movement caught her eye, the security mirror behind the counter. His reflection wasn't smiling. It was screaming, mouth open in a silent howl, hands clawing at his own face. She took a step back, her heart pounding. Through the gas station windows she saw them, people emerging from every house, moving in perfect synchronization, their shadows lagging behind, twisting into unnatural shapes. They were coming closer. Kim Sally rushed to her car and fumbled with the keys. The engine wouldn't start. Of course it wouldn't. The rain had stopped, but darkness was falling fast. Outside, the villagers advanced in eerie unison. Their grins stretched wider with each step, too wide, too unnatural. Her breath came in quick gasps. She had to run. She bolted down the empty street, her footsteps echoing through the silent town. Then she saw it, a church, its towering steeple stabbing the night sky. She sprinted toward it, praying the doors weren't locked. Behind her, the grinning people picked up their pace. Kim Sally yanked the heavy wooden door open and slammed it shut behind her. Silence. The villagers didn't follow. Dusty pews stretched in neat rows before her. Candles flickered along the altar, casting long shadows. But something was wrong. The crucifixes on the walls, each Jesus had that same terrible smile. Her breath hitched. This place wasn't safe either. A door at the back led to a narrow staircase. She descended, heart hammering. The basement smelled of mildew and something metallic. Old newspapers and journals lay scattered across a rotting desk. Then she found it. A diary, its pages crumbling with age. The diary belonged to Dr. Sarah Chen, a researcher who arrived in Eversmile in 1987. She investigated reports of a strange illness, one that made people smile uncontrollably before they disappeared. Her early entries were clinical, detached. The later ones grew frantic. Scribbled notes filled the margins, warnings, desperate pleas. She wrote about the evening smile ritual, about what was really behind those grins, why no one ever left Eversmile. Her final entry, dated October 31st, 1987, was barely legible. "They're not smiles. They're feeding mouths. The shadows aren't shadows at all, they're—" The rest was smeared in dark brown. Blood. Kim Sally's hands trembled as she flipped through the diary. A brittle newspaper clipping fell out. a missing persons report. Dozens of travellers had vanished after passing through Eversmile. Then she saw the photo album. Each sequence showed the same chilling transformation. First photo, normal expression. Second, corners of the mouth slightly upturned. Third, the smile stretched impossibly wide. Final photo, hollow eyes, an empty shell of a person. A floorboard creaked above. They were inside the church. Her flashlight flickered. Footsteps echoed down the stairs, perfectly synchronized. They were coming. She had to hide, had to escape. Kim Sally's heart raced as she grabbed the diary and shoved it into her bag. The footsteps grew louder, closer. They were already on the stairs. In the dying light of the flashlight, she saw more writing on the last page of the diary, instructions on how to stop them. But the crucial part was missing, torn away. Her face felt strange, muscles twitching. The corners of her mouth began pulling upward, slowly, uncontrollably. She pressed a hand to her mouth. No, not like them, but she could feel it. The smile. Her legs gave way as she collapsed to the cold basement floor. The air around her thickened, as though something was closing in. The shadows on the walls shifted, writhing like living things. Kim Sally's breathing grew shallow. The sound of wet chewing filled the room, echoing off the stone walls. She had to warn others. She had to make sure this diary was found. It was the only way to stop the curse of Eversmile. But her body betrayed her. Her lips curled upward, against her will, stretching into that impossible grin. If you're reading this, don't look at their teeth. Don't look at what's moving behind them. And most importantly, don't let them see you. A final dreadful sound echoed through the basement, the creaking of the door. Kim Sally's flashlight flickered one last time, casting a dim light over the pages of the diary. The instructions were still incomplete, the most vital part missing. But it didn't matter now. She could feel them behind her, closing in. Their footsteps, synchronized perfectly. Their grins, growing wider, too wide. Her vision blurred, but she could still see the shadows. They weren't shadows anymore. They were shapes, shapes with teeth, hungry teeth. The smile, her smile, wasn't hers anymore. It was theirs. And the village would have another face to add to its collection. To be continued. Comment for next part.